Welcome to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. Over the next half an hour, we'll be looking beyond the business headlines by giving you in-depth perspective on the stories that are affecting all of us. Coming up on today's show, key government figures, captains of industry, business leaders and dignitaries were all present in London last weekend in celebration of FBN Bank UK's 40th anniversary. Channel's Business Global was present, and we will be providing you with all of the closed-door celebrations shortly. And the two-day Prototypes of Humanity showcase was held in Dubai earlier this week. The event aims to propel entrepreneurs whose products could change the way we live forever. Matthias Charles Yarbe, the CEO and co-founder of AcoFresh Cold Storage Solutions, will be joining me from the sidelines with an overview of his change-making sustainable solutions. Then later, I'll be looking back at some of the biggest business news stories of the week. Last week, dignitaries from across the globe descended upon the capital to celebrate 40 years of FBN Bank UK. The financial institution is a subsidiary of the First Bank Group. Established in the United Kingdom in 1982, FBN Bank UK was initially established to service the UK banking requirements of Nigerian companies and First Bank. 2 decades ago, the bank became a wholly owned subsidiary of First Bank of Nigeria Limited, with offices in the City of London. It has since developed into a much broader business in the gateway to Europe and beyond for African banks, companies and high net worth individuals.
For us at First Bank, sustainable development, sustainable growth is at the back of what we do. And given the fact that Nigeria is plugged into the international trade arena, the strategic purpose for setting up FBN Bank UK is to serve as the trade facilitator between Nigeria and the rest of the world. And we've done that successfully. And we're looking to another 40 years of even promoting not just Nigeria, but African trade. The future is very bright. Again, when you look at all the statistics, all the forward-looking statistics, I believe we have an opportunity as Nigerians, as Africans, to ensure that in the next 10, 20 years, Africa takes its more rightful position in the Committee of Nations and the world. We have the people, we have the resources, we have the brain, and I can't see why we cannot make it happen. So for me, success in the next 10 to 20 years will be to see an Africa where we are a major voice on the global stage, both in terms of our contribution to the GDP of the entire world. But more importantly, I want an African that has a big seat and a big voice on the table when significant global matters are being discussed.
What has sustained us in London is our vision, which is essentially to facilitate trade between Africa and the rest of the world. And in the last 40 years, we've been able to prosecute this vision successfully.
As a Nigerian company, we know we have to do things right. We must comply with all the rules, and we don't do everything we do is we make sure we comply with all the regulations. Sometimes we don't get across very well, but we make sure we do everything right. And the support of First Bank also has been tremendous. We've been able to, in the last 5-10 years, within the last 10 years, really work as a team together, work together with the group, with the First Bank, with the parent, and that has been tremendous success for us.
Services to its customers in the United Kingdom. The Nigerian government, and by extension, the Nigerian people, take pride in this laudable achievement.
It is indeed a huge milestone, and it's something we're proud of. Even going back a few years when I was on the board of FBN UK as an executive director and then MD of First Bank, I knew that the bank was going to grow. I'm happy to see that it is the largest subsidiary of any West African bank in the UK. I'm glad it's met all the standards set by the Financial Services Authority, continues to maintain its reputation for value and integrity.
Because of Sam today, Sam and many others in this incredible team, FBN Bank UK is providing world-class border trade.
London for, the governance you have here. It's a robust financial system you have here. It really, honestly, defines a lot of what we believe is right in terms of financial services. And for that reason, London is a mainstay for us. We'll always be here. So the only reason why we've remained, I say, dependable and dynamic together is because we've always known when to reinvent ourselves. We introduced the very first ATM back in the day in Africa. Money remittances, we were the very first. And you can't do money remittances without it being digital in today's world. So whilst we see the fintechs as disrupting, we're their big brother. And as big brothers, we show them the way, we show them how to disrupt. We partner, we collaborate.
We would love to recognize the presence of Alaji.
Being the oldest bank in Nigeria, 128 years old, we feel happy as Nigerians that one of our own institutions is here flying the flag of Nigeria and trying to prove to the world the Nigerian banking industry has really come of age. Yeah, like every institution, First Bank has had its own share of challenges, but I'm happy being here today that after 6 years, that the bank still remains strong and reliable.
Elsewhere, executives at Fidelity Bank also stormed the British capital, bringing with them hundreds of guests, scores of exhibitors, and over 70 guest speakers. The sole purpose of the two-day inaugural Fidelity International Trade and Creative Connect event is to encourage an expansion of Nigeria's exports.
We have a very strong proposition, which is to set up a platform like none other before now. It's the first of its kind to showcase the product. And we gave them the enabling environment. We made sure we gave out the booths free. And I would ask the exhibitors to just come and exhibit. We plan to have it annually, and it will only get better. So I believe that it's necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention, they say. We absolutely need to do this because the Bureau of Statistics figures of 2021 speak directly to the fact that there's a trade imbalance, because the total trade from UK, as you may have known, is for 4.4 billion, and broken down into imports from UK at 2.6 billion pounds, and then export to UK from Nigeria is 1.8, of which only 760 is for the non-oil exports. And you are very much aware that the oil prices are unstable, so we can't continue to build on that. There's an absolute necessity to diversify.
In diaspora markets, the creative sector alone, especially in Nigeria, and not even on the platform and to grow on the platform. We're also dedicated.
Well, for us, many of these conferences lack somebody who can actually do actionable things. We can provide financing. And so we believe that ultimately our willingness to provide financing will encourage both the entrepreneurs and other government agencies to look at what we're doing, because we're putting our money really where our mouth is this time. And we're willing to finance, we're willing to support, and what we need the customers, the entrepreneurs, and we also need governments to open their arms to us. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish. Trade is the lifeblood of every economy. So if we can get people looking at Nigeria and get Nigerians looking abroad as opening up their vistas and their options, I think we'll all accomplish a lot.
Why are we here? We are here because we want to take our business to the next level. We want to scale up. We want to, get market in the UK. I'm not just here representing my company. There are so many women that I also invited in my network. So we are here because we want to showcase Nigeria to the world.
For creativity to grow, there needs to be a platform that supports its growth. And what events like this do for the creatives, the designers, it gives them that awareness, that visibility that they need. It gives them the promotion that they need. And doing Africa Fashion Week London for 12 years consistently every year, aside from the year of COVID in London, has just been a platform that really supports and helps the designers. It's become a household name in London, and it's a platform that they look forward to every year. So putting an event like this together can be really challenging if you don't have the right team. I have a team that they bend over backwards to make sure that the execution process of Africa Fashion Week London is seamless. Yes, but if you don't have that, then you'd be all over the place. But I think Fidelity Bank, they are doing so well. The FITCC event is the conferences, the talks, the panel discussions, the exhibition as well. It's phenomenal.
From fintech to green energy and agriculture to arts and culture, our network sees ample opportunities for business in Nigeria today. The FITCC is a great credit to Fidelity's vision and ambition to create and focus in on those collaborations and partnerships that are available. And it's the first of its kind that we have seen here in London.
Trade is an agent for change. And what has been happening is that our banks detach themselves from the process of trading, whereas they are supposed to facilitate trade. But facilitating trade is not just giving trade finance, it's not just giving project finance. It's also helping to open doors. Of course, yeah. Because banks have a whole lot of information that traders need. Of course. So what Fidelity Bank is doing is very, very commendable because they are helping to create a platform that will make it easier for Nigerians to export to the UK, and also make it easier to create partnerships for production, for export in Nigeria. So this is really going to be a game changer. It's just starting, this is the first one. But I can assure you that if they keep at it, you will see a significant positive change, not only for Fidelity Bank as a bank, because it will grow their trade business, but also for our country, and indeed for the continent of Africa, because it will then pave the way for other banks to repeat what they're doing, and that would then create the ecosystem for the big change we all need. You see, the culture and creative industry is a great way to go to transform an economy. It's a great way to go to promote manufacturing. It's a great way to go to bring change. It's a great way to go to influence the world. Yes. Today, you see people wearing denim jeans everywhere in the world. Yes, but the denim jeans didn't become popular until it went into the movie industry. That's true. So the movie industry popularized denim. So everywhere today, everybody wears it. And it's because of the movie industry, everybody started liking to wear denim. And then, of course, it created the capacity to manufacture denim everywhere in the world. I do not have exact figures, but you know very well that the size of the market, just for the denim jeans. And if you look at what the culture and creative industry is doing for Nigeria today, it's something similar.
In a moment, I'll be speaking with Matthias Charles Yabe, the CEO and co-founder of AcoFresh, about his vision of securing the harvest of smallholder farmers in Ghana. But until then, here's a breakdown of the biggest business news stories of the week. US President Joe Biden met with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the G20 summit, which was held in Bali, Indonesia, at the start of the week. This was the first time the two leaders of the world's largest economies had met face-to-face since Biden was sworn in as president. Discussions at the summit focused on the war in Ukraine, energy, food supplies and the digital economy.
It may not happen everywhere, but I think that in several key countries, we risk, sliding into a recession. And of course, the impact of that can be quite significant, even for emerging markets and poor countries. The fact of what is happening around the war in Ukraine, uncertainty about what will happen with that, when that will end, issues to do with what happens to food prices, energy prices, inflation, the inflationary pressures. There's so many uncertainties and most of the risks are on the downside.
The British government has signed a deal with French authorities valued at £63 million to crack down on unauthorised channel crossings. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has held the agreement as a foundation for more cooperation in the coming months. The one-year deal has been signed by Home Secretary Suella Braverman and her French counterpart. So far, the UK government has paid the French £175 million to fund anti-migrant operations since 2018. Primark is now offering click and collect services for the first time in 25 stores across the UK. The development now means that shoppers can browse over 2,000 products online, secure their favourites and select a preferred day and time to go and collect their goods in store. Shoppers will need to make a minimum purchase of £15, and at the moment, only kids' toys, clothing and nursery ranges are available for the service. The launch comes following a loss of £1 billion during the pandemic, as non-essential stores were closed and the retailer had no online presence. Now to our next topic. Earlier this week, conveners of the Prototypes for Humanity event gathered what they have described as the most diverse innovators from across the world who have made products that have the power to change global communities. One young businessman from Ghana who was pre-selected to showcase his products in Dubai is Matthias Charles Yabe, the CEO and co-founder of AcoFresh. AcoFresh provides solar-powered cold storage solutions for smallholder farmers, which reduces post-harvest loss. Matthias joins me now from Dubai for more on this. Matthias Charles Yabe, thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. Before we get into the Prototypes of Humanity event, talk to us a little bit about AcoFresh. When did you realise that food waste and storage was an issue for Ghanaian farmers, and how did you find the solution?
Thanks so much for having me. My name is Matthias Charles Yabe. I am the CEO and co-founder at AcoFresh. And at AcoFresh, what we want to do is to help reduce the issue of post-harvest losses, which is very detrimental to many farming communities across Africa. According to the FAO, smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa are losing 40% of all harvests between harvest and consumption. This is very, very serious, and it's causing diverse effects on these farmers, as well as releasing carbon emissions contributing to climate change. So our solution, AcoFresh, was birthed as a timely rescue to help farmers to be able to preserve their fresh farm produce to reduce post-harvest losses. My team and I developed a solar-powered cold storage preservation technology, which is extending shelf life of perishable crops from 5 days to 21 days. And I'm proud to let you know that the solution is serving an entire community of farmers in Akumadan community in Ghana, and is helping them reduce post-harvest losses by 50%. I am very proud to have been selected by Prototypes for Humanity to be, able to exhibit my products at Dubai, for the annual Prototypes for Exhibition show, which is currently being hosted even as we speak now. So I'm in Dubai. And the program brings together a lot of innovation from all over the world. And it's also inspiring to see what young people are doing, developing different innovations and projects that are geared towards contributing to a more sustainable world.
Absolutely. You should be proud of yourself, Matthias. I can't believe 40% of food harvested is wasted. So hopefully when you get back from Dubai, back into sub-Saharan Africa, you can expand your services across the continent. Let's talk about Prototypes of Humanity. I know it's been renamed from the Global Grad Show. How did your cold storage solution pique the interest of the organisers, and what are you hoping to achieve once you return back to Ghana?
Right. So my team and I, we believe that Prototypes for Humanity is one of the amazing programs that is helping to promote young ideas. Because it is really important to give spotlights and shine ideas and shine lights on the ideas young people are producing to help solve some of our major issues. So I believe that Prototype for Humanities is doing something that is a step in the right direction. And this program doesn't just give us the opportunity to even showcase our ideas, it gives us the opportunity for us to get access to possible investment opportunities, which can help us scale our work. And one interesting thing about the Prototypes for Humanities program is the fact that there's an entrepreneurship aspect of it, which nurture young entrepreneurs like myself to be able to scale solutions beyond and get access to funding to help us, accelerate more impact. Absolutely, that's crucial, isn't it? You mentioned sustainability, Matthias, which has become a buzzword. It was a buzzword last year, significantly this year, especially over the past couple of weeks, because just not far from where you are, climate change talks are taking place. What have you learned from that? And are you hoping that adaptation and mitigation funding can be, pushed to entrepreneurs like you so you can expand the services for AcoFresh, which are helping to reduce the waste we have in the world? Yes, of course. I definitely agree with you. And I even just got back from the climate change conference. I was there for the first week, and it was really, really inspiring. I had the opportunity to even join some of the side events where I also, presented AcoFresh and how we are helping to reduce food loss, which is also a major contributor to post-harvest losses and climate change. So what I would say is that initiatives like this that is quite sustainable and is providing access to green energy solutions is something that needs to be accelerated and supported, because one, I believe that governments and world leaders should look at energy access, which is one very key aspect of all we are doing, because our solution is providing smallholder farmers green energy, because we realize most of these farmers were not having access to electricity. And we live in Africa where we have over 600 million people who are still not having access to electricity. So that means that we need to really push more into green energy solutions, making sure that we are providing clean energy and clean jobs to people, helping to prevent greenhouse gas emissions. So these were some of the things we were talking about at the climate change conference. And also climate financing is something that is really, really important. And finally, putting together right policies to help young entrepreneurs, young social entrepreneurs to be able to scale their works across territories is one thing that is very key, because, you can have a successful product in one country, but then transferring it to another territory is another issue, which has to do with several international trade policies and laws. So if some of these things could be flexible to be able to accelerate and transfer most of these successful social impact initiatives to different countries, is something that could be a game changer. It could be a game changer, and you are in the right place. Fingers crossed that you do get the investment so it can be expanded across the West first. Please do bring AcoFresh to Nigeria. We so desperately need it there. Matthias Charles Yabe, CEO and co-founder of AcoFresh, thank you so much for your time today. Yes, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today. But as always, do get in touch with your comments and suggestions. I'll see you at the same time next week for more in-depth business analysis on Channels Business Global. Goodbye.